Welcome everyone to today's webinar. I hope you can hear us okay. We're really excited to be with you guys here today to talk to you about a new feature that is available to you inside of the Mangomint platform. The feature I'm talking about is service customizations, which is there to allow your clients to customize their services as they book them with you. A truly unique feature that will create a lot of value in your business, and we're really excited to show you how it's going to do that for you in today's session. So just real quick before we get started, so my name is John Hallberg. If we haven't met, then I'm responsible for content here at Mangomint, as well as at the salonbusiness.com. And I'm also joined by Abby today.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby Schmaltz. I'm on the Mangomint product marketing team. So happy to be here today.
Great, and hi Mel as well in the chat. So, and while you're going in the chat actually, so it would be great for us to know who's here today. So if you just quickly want to put like where you're calling in from and what type of business you run. So if you run a barbershop, a spa business, or hair salon, or whatever type of business you run and where you're calling in from would be helpful for us, and we can try to personalize the experience today and share some relevant examples. And I see some coming in, that's great. And while you do that, I'm also just gonna pull up the agenda on the screen here. So let me share my window here with you. And let's see, I hope you can see that okay. So maybe you want to walk through the agenda quickly, Ab, and then we can look at all the action happening in the chat.
Yeah, so we have a really exciting webinar for everybody here today. So first off, we want to start, giving you a little bit more information about how you should leverage service customizations in your business and how they can have an immediate impact on your business. Then we're going to jump right into a live demo of service customizations. So I'm going to walk you through how to set these up inside your Mangomint account so that you can start using these right away today. And then throughout the webinar, we're going to share a lot of different examples and use cases for different business types. So we hope to give you some creative ideas that you can start implementing right away. And we definitely want to make sure we answer as many questions as possible as well. So John and I will try to answer some questions during the live webinar. And then we also have members of the Mangomint team who will be in the chat answering questions as well. So feel free to pop your questions in during the webinar. And then of course, any questions that we don't get to, we'll absolutely make sure that we follow up with you right after the webinar as well. So yeah, we're so excited to jump right in. Let's do it.
Awesome. And I see we have people from everywhere in here. So Santa Monica, we have Palm Sunday from Toronto in as well, from Arizona, Scottsdale as well. Chloe, welcome. So people from across the country, that's super exciting. I see both spa, hair salon, also Twisted Tattoo in there. Welcome to the call. Laser Med Spa New York, Sugar Moon Salon Toronto. Okay, so welcome everyone. Really excited to walk you through this today. And really what we want to do in today's session is to allow you to create something like this. So I'm just showing you here like the online booking that a client would go through with our little example account that we created for the sake of today called the 7 Lakes Salon and Spa. So what we want to show you is to create a customization so that where your client wants to book, let's say a nail service, would go to your nail services and maybe pick your manicure. So when you then go into that manicure, it gives you these options, right? So you can actually customize that experience. You can choose what type of manicure and polish you would like. Is that a gel? Is that an acrylic? To provide that information. You can also enhance your experience. Maybe with a premium top coat, we want to add that, which increases the price of the service. Maybe the cuticle oil, which increases the price, as well as the time and duration of the service. And maybe we want to go even further here, right? And allow the client to add nail art to their manicure and go so deep. So we ask even like, how many fingers are we talking about? And, based on that information, adapt the price of that service and also increase the duration to make sure, that the client is booked in for a sufficient amount of time. So this is just from the example account, and we're going to show you exactly, how to do all of that. And why, so that's what I just show you. So why are we so excited about this? So service customizations can potentially create a lot of value for your business. Like the number one or would be generally, like if there's one thing that luxury brands and high-end brands have in common, is the ability to personalize and tailor the experience for their clients. And by enabling service customizations, you can really do that, and you can really listen to the needs and desires of your client and create a completely personalized experience for them. So much better experience for the customer. But not only that, like when you can customize the service, you can also avoid having these like from prices in your menu, because now and we've seen that when it's like from $100 to book this service, for the client it's like, what does that really mean, right? Is that $200? Is it $300? I have no idea, and they might not book you. Whereas if you allow them to actually customize and to specify that additional information you need, you can provide more like accuracy and be more upfront with your pricing as well. So overall, a better experience. It also creates an upsell opportunity for you, so you can increase the value of each visit. So in the example that I just walked you through, right, you could see that we had some service enhancements in there, right, that increases the value of each appointment. So this is really a very strategic way for you to drive revenue in your business, and not only rely on the fact that your team members will remember to promote these different add-ons and so on during the appointment, which in many cases might not even be possible, right? If you haven't booked them in advance, there might not be enough service duration or enough time in the appointment to do these type of add-ons. And this is really what this enables as well, to drive that strategic revenue increase in your business. And finally, it also helps simplify your menu. So it's possible today that you have like basically duplicates of the service, but like adapted in order to have the different variants and so on. You don't really need that now. You can have like the service and then allow people to then customize from there. So it simplifies what your menu looks like. It also improves booking accuracy. So you might have people who would book in for maybe the wrong service, if they're not guided through that booking experience on what they should select, and they come in for a shorter duration than what they really needed and so on. This is really what this helps with, and it helps streamline that booking experience to make that much smoother. And it's possible even that you have services today that you cannot offer online, and you cannot offer it through online booking because you need that additional information. So you need people to call you to book that service. Now, potentially, we can actually start allowing them to be booked online because we can collect more of that information. So as you see, there's a ton of value in doing this. So we're going to dive in now and just walk you through like a demo and to show you like really how do you set this up, where do you get started, and how can you start playing with this. So I'm going to hand over to Abby to share your skills. Let me disconnect mine.
Thank you, John. Okay, and let me know if anybody can't see that okay. So this is my Mangomint account, and this is actually my settings screen. But before we dive into service customizations, I do want to point out our brand new app manager that we actually also launched last week. So for current customers, previously you were managing features through the settings and then business setup and the feature manager. We've actually moved a ton of our features into our brand new app manager, as well as our integrations. So I just want to point this out to you because this is something else super exciting that we launched in the app last week. And so all you need to do is now go here to the app manager. So this is really going to help you discover new apps and features for the Mangomint platform. And if we click on that, you'll see you get a whole overview of different enabled apps that are in your account. And you can see here, these are the ones that are enabled in my account. And then there's also lots of other available applications as well and integrations. So I did just want to point that out to you. You can see here, of course, we're featuring the new service customizations. And if you click that, you can see a nice overview of the service customizations feature. So this provides really great information if you want to go check out some use cases. We also have really helpful links to our learning center right here as well. So definitely recommend checking out the app manager as well. And this is also where you can enable service customizations. However, I do want to make it really clear to everybody listening today that we've actually already automatically enabled service customizations on everybody's accounts. So you don't need to go to the app manager first. It's already set up in your account and it's enabled. But I did just want to show you where that is so that you can start playing around with the app manager too. So now I'm actually going to show you where to start setting up your service customizations. And again, this is already enabled by default for everybody. So in order to do that, we're just going to pop over here to settings, and then we're going to go to the services setup screen. So I'm going to click that. And then this is the services setup screen everybody's used to. We've got our service categories here as well as individual services. And I'm actually going to go to a service that I have previously set up. So I do have the massages category, and previously I did set up the 60-minute massage service. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what you guys are going to notice here is that we actually have a new customizations tab. So again, that is right here, and this is how you're actually going to start setting up all of your service customizations. So all you need to do is click that and just click add option group. And I do want to call out, it says here that no option groups have been added for this service yet. So an option group, you may be wondering, what is that? An option group is really just a collection of related options. So you can set these up in whatever way makes sense for your business and kind of organize them in the way that makes sense for you and your service offerings. So what I'm going to do is click add option group, and you can see that I have a few different option groups already set up. There's just a lot here, but I'm actually going to create a new one for this 60-minute massage. So I'm going to click create new option group, and then I'm going to fill out my prompt for clients. And keep in mind that this will be visible to your clients during online booking. So make sure it's on brand, make sure there's no typos, things like that. So I'm just going to write, how would you like to customize your massage? Okay, so that is the prompt for clients. And then I am also going to set up a group name. So we're going to call this one massage options. And this group name, it is internal. So again, just set up a name that makes sense for you and your business. So now I'm actually going to show you guys how to set up 3 different options that go within this option group. And I'm going to basically show you 3 options that kind of display different flexibility that the service customizations offers. So we're going to show you one that changes the service duration, and then one that changes the price, and also one that adds a resource requirement. So I'm going to add the first one here. And for this one, I'm going to add a scalp massage. So we'll call it scalp massage. And then for description, I'll just say enhance your appointment with a scalp massage. And then all you need to do here is toggle this first option here where it says this option changes the service duration. So we're going to click that, and then I'm just going to increase the duration by 15 minutes. So we just click 15 minutes and then add. So we've added our first option. Now I'm going to add one more. And this one, this is actually going to be for a premium massage oil. So we go ahead and add the option name, and then we will add a description as well. All right, so there's our description. And again, that is visible to clients and online booking. Okay, so for this one, I am now going to actually select this second toggle here where it says this option changes the service price. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to increase the price by $20. So all you do is to type 20 there and then click add. And then I'm going to add one more option here, and this is going to be for hot stones. And we'll just add the description. And this is really exciting because we've actually paired our recent resource scheduling feature with service customizations. So for those of you who have been keeping up with our product releases recently, we did just release resource scheduling just a few weeks ago. If you're not yet familiar with it, I definitely recommend checking out our webinar on the Mangomint website that has a great source of information about resource scheduling. But this is so exciting because we have paired that feature with service customizations. So now you can actually add an option that adds a resource requirement. So we're going to select this, and when an option requires a resource, the resource will be booked for the entire service duration. So we can make sure that's available for us. And then you just go ahead and go to resource group and select your group. Go to equipment and tools. That is a resource group that I previously set up. And then I'm going to go to specific services. And because hot stones is the only tool that makes sense to use for this, I'll just select hot stones, and then I will click add. Okay, excellent. So I've showed you guys how to add 3 different available options. One changes the service duration, one has a price adjustment, and one has a resource requirement. And we're just going to finish setting this up, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like in the calendar. So you can also choose if it's required or optional. I'm just going to make this one optional. And then you can select at most 3. So I put 3 there. You could put whatever you want there. You could put 1 to 3 in this case, and then I'll hit save. So now we've created the massage options option group, and this is customizing the 60-minute massage service. So now that we've done that, I'm going to pop over to the calendar, show you guys what it looks like when you're actually setting this up as a new appointment. So let's go over to calendar, and we're going to go here to our calendar, and we're going to get an appointment with Jennifer. And so I'm going to go ahead and set up an appointment for Rebecca. Rebecca Pearson would love to come in and get a massage. So we're going to select the service, and then we'll just go to that massage that we just customized. And what you guys will notice here is that this text has now appeared. It says add massage options. So now we can go through and we can add the different options. So let's pretend, for example, Rebecca is coming in. She really feels like treating herself today. So we're going to add all of these options for her. So she would love to get a scalp massage. And what you guys will just notice when I clicked a scalp massage right there, the service duration increased. So you could automatically see that happening, and it's blocking out more time for the service. And then we're also going to select the premium massage oil, and we're also going to select the hot stone. So she's going all out. And something else I want to point out here is that when I selected hot stones, you can see that in the equipment and tools in this resource column, the hot stones resource, it is now reserved. So it's booked out, so we can ensure that those are available for Rebecca's massage. All right, so now I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like to go ahead and book it and check out. So we're going to go ahead and book that appointment. And then we are just going to check her in, have her in service, and check out. And one thing I also want to point out here is that now you can see that the total price has increased. And also, something else to point out here is that if you're checking out right now, if you wanted to, example, update any of the pricing, you could click that and change the prices here manually if you wanted to. But for our purposes, we're not going to worry about that. So we're just going to go ahead and close this out, and you can see that the price, the base price was $120, but because she purchased that premium massage oil, the total price is now $140. So we'll go ahead and pay for that and check out. Just use our demo credit card here, and we will charge that. And then we've checked it out. And then I also want to show you guys real quick the online booking, so you can see what that looks like as well. So now I'm just going to go over here and show you what that looks like. So in the online booking, you can see now these are all the options that we set up previously for the 60-minute massage. So if you're a client, you're coming in to use online booking, you can go ahead and just select all of these. So you could select each one, for example. And it's really nice because you can see how it's changing the service duration, how the price is increasing, all of that. And then you just hit continue and book the appointment. So we'll continue booking. And then you just fill out the information as usual and book it. And then once we finalize, this is really great as well, because for the client's perspective, you can see all of the options listed out here as well in the confirmation. So they know exactly what they're getting, exactly what they're paying for. And yeah, so that's, I think, all for this live demo. We're going to pop back over and show you guys more examples and use cases.
Great, Abby. Thanks for that. So I will be sharing my presentation, sharing my window now. So as you can see, we can do a lot of things with service customizations. So what I wanted to do was just to walk you through a few common use cases that we've seen, some examples. And the purpose of this is really to give you just some ideas as you start working on this. It might be that some of them are not relevant at all for you. It might be a version of that is relevant for you. But the purpose is more to kind of get some of that creativity and energy going by showing you some of the common examples. So let's start with just some use cases that are about customizing the experience. So a common one would be that you offer a customization for first-time visits. So it's likely that you're offering services where you want a little bit more time with people who are coming in the first time, so that you can do a proper consultation with them, and that you have enough time allocated for your first-time clients. So this is a service group that you could create, which potentially could be applied to then many different services if you want to keep track of who's coming in first, and with that also then extend the service time for that appointment. Another way you can adapt the service could also be to offer silent appointments. So, because people have different preferences. I don't know about you, Abby, what you think of a silent appointment.
Yeah, this is actually a great example. I was actually at a massage recently, and they were kind of a little bit too chatty, and it kind of made it less relaxing. So I would have loved the option to choose a silent massage or a silent haircut when I wanted to.
Yeah, so I think this is just a nice way to show that we're listening to our clients and adapting the experience and tailoring the experience to their desires and needs. Another one could also be to offer like express versions of our services, and one could be the spray tan. And I think this example is also just interesting because here we could potentially charge a little bit more for doing the express version, and without us actually deducting the time and the duration of that service. So I think for most of these customization options we will add, it typically adds more time to the appointment, but it's also to show that we can do things where it actually deducts and makes the appointment time faster as well. So that's just some on the experience of the appointment, to give you some ideas. If we want to upsell and to increase the value, we could add enhancements. So let's say we have a facial service. We could add, the use of equipment, if it's like a LED light, or adding products like a firming mask, something like that might not necessarily increase the duration time, but then increases the value of the appointment. So that would be an easy kind of add-on to your facial service. We could go a little bit more complex, and we looked at this one earlier as well, where we kind of customize a bit more. And honestly, you could do a lot more than what you show here. I kept it just to 3 options because I couldn't fit it on the screen, and you wouldn't be able to see it otherwise. But you could go really creative here if you wanted, with a lot of customization options. Choosing the type of product, different upsells or ways of increasing the value, making sure that people who want really can spend their money and get the best experience possible at your location by doing more add-ons. We could also thinking about improving the booking accuracy. An example of that could also be our gender neutral haircut. So instead of which would be common that we see that we offer for hair salons, would offer a men's cut and a women's cut. Here we could do something a little bit more creative by offering more specific adaptations. So you can specify the length of the hair, for example, the texture of the hair. You can ask the client to provide more information, and with that, adapt the price of the service and the duration that you need to deliver the service. And another one, which is a bit different, but it's showing an example also that maybe doesn't have necessarily to do with the service. But we could do if you're a business that creates content, you do things for your social media, you could offer the opportunity when people book to agree to the fact that you're using pictures that you're creating with them. And if they agree to that, you extend the service time, and they might get a bit of discount because they get to stay a little bit longer. And you can add some more specificity there as well as they book in. If it's okay that you use their images for social media and how you can use them, and also give some incentive for them to book that. Just one use case and idea. And then finally, this is not really a use case, but I still wanted to include it here because all of these customizations that we do, we could make them internal only, meaning that clients, wouldn't see them. So a common case for that would be, for example, if we wanted to add treatment details about whatever, specific pain points or treatment areas for that service. So the service provider can then specify that on the service as people book in, so that we can prepare the appointment accordingly. And this is information that only the service providers will see, and it's not something that clients would see anywhere in online booking or anywhere else. So we can also make those internal only. So that was just like to show you a bit of examples of use cases, how we can work with service customizations, that I just wanted to lead you through to get the creativity going. Like really what I encourage you to do is, of course, this is available inside Mangomint. There's no, as we said in the beginning, it's already there for you. So just go in and play around with the feature to see, what you can do with it. And then I would just take like more of a strategic look at your existing service menu and maybe like ask yourself, if you have services on that menu that you could offer more personalization options for to create a better experience for your customers. Like, do you have something like that? Or do you have services that you could add enhancements to in order to increase the value and add-on services basically to increase the value? Do you have opportunities like that on your service menu? Or maybe you have services on your menu that you haven't been able to offer in online booking before. Could service customizations, having this feature available, allow you now to allow people to book? Take a strategic look at your menu and see, what would make sense for you. What kind of customizations should you create? And then, get creative and go in and play with the tool and see what you can create. So that's what we had to share with you today. Just wanted to pause a little bit if we have some questions in the chat. I can see that quite a few things have happened in the chat. So just want to make sure we cover some questions. We still have a few more minutes. So let me just look quickly at the chat. Did you see something already, Abby?
I think there's a couple about reporting, right? Maybe we could touch on that a little bit.
Sorry, say that again.
There's a couple of questions about reporting that I think we can touch on. I think those came through.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Will reporting reflect the new add-ons? I see from AGAM. Okay. Yeah, so maybe you want to actually show that. If you want to pull that
I would
up.
love to show that. And we can definitely track this with reporting. So let me just share my screen again.
Yeah, so while you pull that up, so basically the question that I'm seeing a few versions of is essentially like, how can we see these customization options and how do we track that in reporting?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. And you can track that in our reporting. So I've just pulled up the 7 Lake Salon and Spa demo account again. And all you need to do is actually go over to reports. And then from there, you just need to go to the sales reports category and then go to service sales. So I'm just going to click that and I will show you guys how to generate a report quickly to show you where the customization details will be. So we're just going to, you can set it for whatever time period you want to. I'm going to pull a report for yesterday. So I just click May 30th, and then you can see here that we have a new include service customization details toggle right here. So you just need to enable that and then generate. And then once you generate that report, this is really great data. You see these new columns here. So it says number of customizations and number customization total, which is the total price for the customizations. So this is really great information here. If you keep scrolling down, you can see we've actually broken out all this into a really detailed view. So you can see all of the different service names as well as the different names of the customization options that you set up. So you can see, for example, how many people chose stamps or how many people chose gel or the premium oil, things like that. And you can see the counts and the total amount spent on those customization options. So this is going to be super good data as you're, going back to what John said before about kind of formulating your strategy. Over time, you'll start collecting more data here. And so you can start to see trends and really see, which customization options are most popular in your business, or maybe certain ones are not that popular and you should consider removing them. So this will just give you super good insight into all of that. And I recommend continuing to check that, especially as you begin using service customizations for the first time.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. And actually, while you're in there, because we got one which I think is quite straightforward for you to show, which is Maybe Zach got creative when I said like, let's get going, let's start creating things, because he's asking like, how do I actually delete them?
Oh, that's
How
a
do I
great
delete
question.
customization?
Yeah, and that,
Do you want to
of
show
course,
that?
we can definitely
How to
show
do
that. And this may come up as well. Maybe you created one and you need to remove it and just start over. That's totally fine. And it's super easy to do. So I'm just going to go back to the services setup and show you how to do that. So I'm in settings, again, just go to services. And the first thing you need to keep in mind is if you want to delete an option group, you first need to make sure that it's not being used by any services currently. So I'm just going to go here, for example, let's say, for example, we'll start here. I'll go to customizations. And then if you click add option group, you can see, again, the list of existing option groups that you have. And I'm just going to go to this one, for example. So massage options. This is the one that I just created. I went ahead and just removed it already behind the scenes from that 60-minute massage service that we had set up before. And so now you can see it's not being used by any services. So this is now showing the delete button. So all I need to do is go here and click delete, and then you can just delete it like that. So again, the system, it has a nice safeguard in place. So if the option group is being used by other services actively, you can't delete it until you remove it from those services. So super easy to delete and kind of set these up as needed, link them across services, do all of that. So you'll find once you start setting these up just how flexible they are and how fast you can set them up as well.
Awesome. Great. I see we're kind of going to the full time mark. There's more questions coming in here, and there's a lot of love happening, hearts and thanks, awesome. So that's good, and I see excitement around the feature, which is great. I think that if you have there's some very specific questions that I see as well. So we will make sure that we also take those, and we might reach out to you individually to make sure you work through us, or some related to like combining memberships and like quite specific things. So we'll make sure that we can connect with that. Maybe we should do at least one more question before we close. So I saw one which is also interesting, which is like, what's the where was that? One practical, can I get a copy of the slides? So the recording will be available after this, where you can get access to everything that we've shared today. So you'll have that. So let's pick one more. Any best practices? Again, was asking best practices on the number of enhancements to add. What is the right amount and what is overwhelming? I think like the best advice we can get is more like a common sense approach here, and I think it really depends also on the service that you're adding enhancements for. And I think we just need to apply some common sense of like what makes sense to have, and I think you will sense that as well on the service of like, when are you trying to push too many things, and what is the right level. But I think it's a great question, and certainly something that we could be talking more about at some other point as well, and provide some more best practices like that.
And maybe on that note, John, I would recommend testing it as you set them up. Go to the online booking. Maybe you've added 10, for example. So you could go see how that feels, putting yourself in the client's shoes. Maybe that feels like too many. So definitely test it out as you're setting it up, and put yourself in the client's shoes, look at the interface from their perspective, and then you can kind of decide, okay, maybe that's too many, or maybe we could add a couple more here.
Great. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up the session for today there. Thanks everyone for like a lot of like interaction in the chat. I see a lot of excitement for the future. We're super excited about this, and it certainly opens up a lot of possibilities for you to create value with this. So thanks for watching this. If you had posted questions there that we didn't get back to you now, we will make sure that our support team as well will reach out to you individually on those as well, so that you get proper answers and help and the guidance that you need. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and see you in a future webinar here at Mangomint.
Thanks so much, everybody.